At the John Daly Major Ed Foundation, we also focus on making sure that we partner up with great organizations. Great organizations like St. Jude's, great organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, our friends at Warriors for Freedom, our friends at Force 50 Foundation, which provides veterans the health care that they need. As you can see, we are the safety net at the John Daly Major Ed Foundation to make sure that no one gets left behind on the field of battle and that you're taken care of in the home front. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Hoorah!
Are you an E or a C?
Both have Ridgeback.
These are loaded with tech.
Which one are you gaming? Definitely E for me.
It's just so forgiving.
I'm definitely an E.
C is for Cheka. What else?
C is for kill it. C is me. Low spinning bomb.
So, are you an E or a C?
I don't know. Hey, wait a minute.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Welcome back to Big's Golf Talk right here on Native Family Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all your Amazon devices, and much, much more on YouTube TV at Big's Golf Talk. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, all at Big's Golf Talk. And be sure to subscribe with us on YouTube and our podcast, too. You can also listen to us on any major podcast platform. Just search for Big's Golf Talk on your favorite podcast app, including iTunes or Apple Music, whatever they call it these days. I don't know what they call it these days. Is iTunes even a thing anymore?
I haven't heard of iTunes anymore.
Right?
Like on my computer now, when you go to that little icon, it just says music. It's just like,
that's what mine says. It doesn't say iTunes.
Say iTunes.
Yeah.
I said iTunes talking to somebody the other day, and they were like,
What?
And I was like,
that was so 90s.
Did you hear about the new iPods that they have coming out?
No.
$1,500. And if you want the gold one, they have gold plated for more. It's the same exact thing, but now it's super fast, seamlessly this, and I'm like, you gotta be crazy.
I don't have any problems with
for their phone.
You can use this.
I don't have any problems with this one.
Oh, that's right. You got that. These things are like crazy. They got all these new things that are coming.
It's not slow. I mean, once in a while, like when I'm in a bad area, maybe the Bluetooth goes on, comes back, but
yeah, no, it's just, I mean, they got all kinds of things. And they were talking about remember the little things where you put the music on? What do you call those?
Here's the thing. These things have become disposable.
Yeah.
Because every year they come out with a new one, right?
They're only good for like 4 or 5 years.
And for those guys, such as myself, that like the newest and latest thing, it's just like golf equipment.
Yeah.
Swapping it out. As long as there's a market, they're going to put it out there. And
but you figure by now they start getting a little less expensive. Instead of $1,100, $1,200 a pop.
They're getting worse.
They're getting worse and worse. I mean, and the plans are still the same. Before, at least you got a phone with the plan. Now, nope. Here you go. Here goes your overexpensive plan plus your phone that you have to. It's like you rent it. You don't even own it. Here, I'm gonna rent it from you. It's crazy. Yeah. It's as much as your damn plan costs. So
if not more. I mean, we pay like almost $60 a month for the phones itself. That's not even with the plan.
That's not with the plan. It's insane.
So,
and then they make, like, when I got my last phone. When I got my last phone, it's like you fill out that thing and they want to make sure that you're credit qualified to get it. It's like, come on, man.
Like, it's a phone, not a house.
It's not a house. I'm not going anywhere. Give me a break. It's insane. It really is.
I know I have like a $2,000 credit or something like that I can spend on accessories, and I charge it to my account or whatever case might be. I can pay monthly things on it or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to pay any more monthly fees.
I don't want to pay any more monthly
payments. Subscriptions are Man, rough.
Yeah, they are.
They add it fast.
I learned about subscriptions through watching my child's bank account. That's how I learned about subscriptions. Spotify, Animal Jam, and everything in between. I'm like, what?
And you're like, what is this?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it used to be worth it when you wanted to cut the cord and maybe just go ahead and pay whatever it was $14.99 for Hulu or and you get everything. But now $14.99 only covers the basic of Hulu, and then you got to pay for different channels.
If you don't want no commercials,
right?
Like when they stop and they do.
Now, I will say I'm loving and Bill, I know a friend of yours has just gotten Xfinity. And I'm loving Xfinity because I get Peacock. And if you're a wrestling fan and you like to watch WrestleMania and things like that,
it's free, right?
You also get the Peacock part of that. And Peacock, they're streaming all the WWE pay-per-views that used to cost you $75, $100 a month.
$100, yeah. You get that for free.
Now it's on Peacock and it's free. So
I used to like when you had the other one, and I used to steal it. The one that had Bravo and all the other ones on it, because I used to watch.
Something you want to admit on the
Wives of Beverly Hills.
90 Day Fiancés and shit like that. I used to watch all that stuff because he had it. So I just log in and I watch it. But now he doesn't have it, so I don't have it. So it's like I missed that show, 90 Day Fiancé.
Ask him how many subscriptions that I have that he had that he used.
And
ask him how many subscriptions he has that I have.
He had 3. You had Hulu. You had Discovery one, which you don't have no more, and then you had
Peacock.
What's the other? Well, what's the other one? You had something different besides that,
like Netflix or something.
No, he has something.
No, he has his own Netflix.
I have my own Netflix. My phone gives me Netflix.
Oh yeah.
But it's weird now. They give you your Netflix, but now they limit. So you only have like one sign on. Like, but it's a T-Mobile. I got my one sign on.
Yeah, you can't like log in from multiple spaces.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they got smart.
They're getting smart. They're going to allow only one access if you want to pay multiple license fees for multiple access.
So that's what they're trying to do.
But
what we're supposed to be talking about Phil now?
Yeah, Phil Mickelson. And as the show was going on, more news was coming out about Phil Mickelson and why he's not playing in the Masters. I just read during a couple of our commercial breaks, reported from golf.com, as a matter of fact, that the sources say that Augusta National's officials did reach out to Phil Mickelson and asked him not to drive down Magnolia Lane.
Ooh. It's there.
They're saying that now. This is sources. I don't know. They're unconfirmed sources, but according to golf.com, the sources are pretty solid for them.
So don't you think
that this is not a choice by Phil Mickelson not to play in the Masters?
So don't you think?
And I think we brought that up earlier. That
not him.
Behind the scenes, somebody reached out to Phil and said, "Yeah, hey, it's a good idea that we keep drama free, away from here." And
but like I know we said it's not the PGA because Masters is separate.
Right.
But don't you think, and that the PGA went to the Masters and said, look, the Masters, yes, while they're private, they also still, the PGA could say, we don't want to host the Masters. Like, we don't want that as a major, or the PGA has a lot more power than what we think, but I just feel like, wouldn't you think there's a little bit of pressure in that?
Well, the PGA, here's the thing. Monahan could say, we will not consider the Masters to be a major. They can't stop Augusta National from hosting the Masters.
Yeah.
PGA does not own the name Masters. I found that out personally because a friend of mine did a Masters giveaway and was reached out from Augusta National by their committee.
But they would lose
with a cease and desist
support.
No, I think the PGA would hurt more if they openly said, okay, if they were going to have one player we don't want there, and we're not going to back the Masters, that would hurt the PGA Tour more than it would hurt the Masters.
Sure.
Everybody wants to play in the Masters. Everybody wants to go there. But, I mean, I was looking at all the different headlines. They got Augusta National officials do not want Phil Mickelson playing in the Masters. Mickelson told or strongly encouraged not to come by Augusta National. Phil Mickelson to miss it. Everything is about he will not play. They're encouraging him not to play. So if everybody's talking about, and the latest one was that he did indeed was asked not to because they didn't want him. Could they? I mean, could they do it? Being that doesn't he have like an exemption forever on the Masters?
Phil certainly could push the issue contractually by contract.
Yeah.
Because he is a past champion.
Yep.
So unless it's something in the Masters bylaws
that said they can,
that has some kind of, like in professional sports, you have a contract, like a behavior contract, part of your contract, right?
Yeah.
So if it's unbecoming of Augusta standards, and they feel Phil has violated those standards, then maybe it's something that, hey, we're going to hold off on your membership until this clears.
Yeah. Well, you saw what they did at Bay Hill when they had.
And the issue is too, it's not helping that Greg Norman is coming out with all the and fully still pushing. And saying, hey, we have eight events on the books. Live Investments is behind this. Right. It is, so it doesn't help that Greg Norman is pouring more gas on the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And Phil has said what he said, although he's been quiet.
Yeah.
Now,
have you heard of anybody talking about it?
Warriors out there are saying Phil Mickelson is going to be playing in these events. I'm saying I think Phil is smart enough, and if he does, that will be the end of the legacy of Phil Mickelson.
Yeah.
If he doesn't,
I agree.
Then we're going to believe his apology.
Yeah, and then you give him a little bit for the dust to settle, and he'll be back. But until then.
So I mentioned that there was a celebrity backing Phil.
Yeah.
So on Twitter, Piers Morgan.
Oh God. Yeah.
So golf's ongoing cancellation of Phil Mickelson has now forced him out of the Masters. You don't have to agree with the things he said recently, for which he apologized. To think this is now turning into an unedifying sporting crucifixion. I'll play with you, Phil.
Yeah, but nobody wants to play with Piers Morgan. That's the problem. If I was Phil, you know what I tell Piers? The same thing Simon Cowell did over and over and over. You know what I mean? It's like who wants to be that guy? Yeah, nah.
But yeah, so he's now jumping, which I think is funny because it's like out of nowhere, right? And he's a very non-golf influenced human being. So I just think it's funny that he's like, oh guys, but here, and I'm not saying you can't have an opinion on things.
Yeah.
But you also don't know, if you're not in the golf industry or in the golf world, I don't know that you really know what's going on behind the scenes. And maybe Pierce does, maybe I don't know. He has some insider connections, but I just think it's funny that he had to weigh in his 2 cents and said, I'll play with you, Phil.
Yeah, I unless he has a lot of money he wanted to lose, that's the only time, Phil would want to play. So they, as all the stuff that they're talking about, they're still saying that the door's open for Phil, to play in this Saudi league, but his legacy is going to be done in the PGA if he does it. And they haven't shown who's going to golf. I know they were supposed to do it during the Masters, and Greg Norman is still saying that it's going to happen during the back nine of the Masters when they're allegedly going to do what they're going to do. But How? Who's? And it, just as the other day, like 3 days ago, they were talking about they have no commitments from anybody on the PGA Tour. Who is going to go during the time that they pick, the worst time of golf to do it, to throw their names out? I don't think there's anybody that crazy enough that would do that.
I don't think so either. And I think it's just people are smart. Like, if that's my career and that's my livelihood.
Yep.
Even if I feel like I'm probably going to tiptoe a little bit, like, there's very few people on tour like Tiger, Rory, DJ, Phil, that can survive without continuing to play.
Yeah. There's very few.
There's not a lot. Yes, there's a lot of guys on tour, just as there are women, but like, it's very top heavy still in the guys, even though they get paid more. And there's a select 10 or 15 that have really major big endorsements that has made them enough money up to this point to where they could never play another day in their life and be fine.
Yeah. And you would think Phil was one of those, but with his gambling habits, you just don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know, because he gambles on everything, so you don't know what, I haven't seen him on Embro commercials anymore. So he used to be the face of Embro.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, hey, I got my life back. I don't have my psoriatic arthritis and all this other stuff. But you see less and less of him on the commercials. We know that Callaway, while they didn't totally cut him off, are they paying him? They got a little break. They're not really probably going to pay him, and they're not using him until maybe later. But that's not guaranteed money anymore.
Yeah.
So is it worth it? I think from now on, anybody going against them is going to use their brain and, get all the information before, because you still have the atrocities going on over there. They're not going away. They're still happening over there. So they can turn the blind eye all we want.
Here's the thing too, guys, is, obviously money is the root to all evil.
Always. Yep.
7 events having a $25 million purse, $20 million for medal play, $4 million for the winner, and $5 million for the top 3 teams. Obviously, the PGA Tour just concluded its richest tournament with a $20 million purse at the Players' Championship, which was won by Cameron Smith, by the way. And the tour pays 18% of the prize money to the winner. Now, the schedule for the Saudi-backed rival league includes 4 tournaments in the United States. No shocker here. Trump obviously loves to, be in the middle of a controversy. One is a Trump National in New Jersey, which originally was to host the PGA Championship this year, but this is a middle finger to the PGA Tour. And the PGA of America voted to move it after the riot at the U.S. Capitol back in January of 2021, as Congress was certifying Joe Biden's presidential victory.
Yep.
The others would be in the United States. Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club in Portland, Oregon, which previously hosted the U.S. Women's Open.
Yeah.
Rich Harvest Farms, probably the biggest name out of the 4. Rich Harvest Farms outside of Chicago, which once hosted the Solheim Cup and the International, a private club about 30 miles west of Boston. The International is the private club just outside of Boston. The series is start to June 9th through the 11th at the Centurion Club in London, 1 week before the U.S. Open outside Boston. So this is, he's not letting up, and he is just going to, and there's no players announced. 0 right now.
None.
And he is just wanting to just say, F you, PGA Tour. I'm going to take the media during the Masters, and I'm going to use it.
So if you're Phil at this point, let's say you don't get let back into the Masters, and who's to know? I'm not saying like forever, but maybe, like, we don't know.
We don't know.
So if you're Phil, coming from like setting emotions and feelings aside and just thinking business now, you've already kind of effed up the PGA Tour as far as how they
Visualize, yeah. How to see, yeah.
I don't know that you can ever get that back. Do you just jump ship and go on?
No.
I mean, Tiger got his back. Tiger was drunk.
Tiger
Tiger
Woods is a whole different animal.
I was going to say, wait.
Well, that's what I'm saying. For the media,
Phil has his fan base. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Tiger sells tickets.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Phil's issue was if one of my friends, I have a group of friends, and one of my friends has a personal issue and they're sleeping around and they're doing all this stuff, and they can gain their cred back with me.
Yeah.
If this friend over here stabs me in the back and basically says, F you, that's a different ball game.
Right.
So I'm not saying you never deserve a second chance. And I really like Phil. I'm a Phil fan, but
me too.
I just think at this point, you've got to take the reins as a business person now. You've got to switch your gears. And if you don't want your whole career to go down in flames, he better figure out what he's doing.
Yeah.
Well, he right now he's doing the best thing he's doing right now.
He's
and
staying
quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the best thing he can do. He hasn't commented.
Here's what's going to happen, though. Here's what's going to happen. During the Masters tournament will set the tone of Phil's future. This will be the epitome of where he's going in, like Amanda said, his business sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't see his name as a player and we don't see him playing in June on the Live Tour, okay, then his apology is sincere.
Yeah.
If he plays on the Live Tour, I'll say this right now on BGT, you will lose me as a Phil fan if he plays on the Live Tour.
Yeah.
I like to think of he's a man of his word and he's a man of what his words say, right? And he feels bad about how he did it without the information. Okay, I want to believe him and say, okay, he was ignorant to the humanitarian aspect of what was happening in Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was ignorant to that.
Yeah.
So I have a question. If another tour came along, this same scenario, not involving Saudi, just another tour, would we still be having this conversation? Now, be real, because everyone's going to say it's because it's a Saudi tour that they're having trouble with it. I think PGA gets butt hurt no matter what.
I agree. I don't think
I think the PGA Tour gets butt hurt no matter what. But I would back the tour more with it if it shows me that it has the charitable aspect, like the PGA. Let's face facts. PGA Tour has done a lot of humanitarian things, when it comes to kids and all that stuff. If you was to show me another tour, that kind of money you're throwing around, that tells me you have the backing to have some kind of humanitarian cause along with that tour. I'm all on.
Yeah. You won't see it. Nobody's going to come to America and spend that kind of money.
Let's take the Dell Championship, and you know what? We're going to break away on the radio side. We're going to continue on the TV side. So we'll be right back on the radio side, and we're going to continue this conversation because I want to just make a thing here. So we'll be right back, right on the radio side, right here on Big Golf Talk, and Amanda's going to take off here. So Bill and I will be right back on the 10T here on Big Golf Talk on the radio side. Continuing here on the BGT-TV on the YouTube side and on Facebook Watch. So I'm making a point here. The Dell Match Championship, okay, which is this week's tournament that's happening.
Yep.
Okay. Bryson DeChambeau was not given a penalty where another golfer was given a penalty in the same area, and all of a sudden, Bryson brings up an argument about the area that's supposed to be a penalty. And after that, he brings up that argument, which probably was a valid argument, but he had already had somebody be assessed a penalty when Bryson came to that area as well.
Sure.
And now you see somebody spray painting that penalty line. I mean, the PGA Tour has got to get their heads out of their asses and be level all across the board and not nitpick.
I think that's why people get frustrated.
We've
mean-
seen them make mistakes over the year. We've seen it.
Yeah. No, and every place is, but I can't imagine.
But golfer, I mean, what about the guy that got penalized?
Yeah. It's
You know, what do you think he's sitting in the locker room saying, what, just because he's Bryson DeChambeau, he's not going to get penalized? And now you fix the area after I've already been assessed penalty?
It's the truth. It has to be fair. I mean, you can't fix something during that round.
No,
you shouldn't be able to.
Not at all. And so Mackenzie, she was playing in her like college or an amateur championship. And they went out there and the tee markers were marked incorrectly. So a lot of girls were teeing off from the wrong set of markers. They can't go out there and take them away and say, oh, they have to leave it out there and they have to just. And so you watch these girls getting penalties because they didn't know. But you can't go out there and take them away so the rest of the field doesn't get that penalty.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think it's fair.
But the PGA Tour just did that in the WGC match play.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. And if it was the other guy, if he's how would you say, a less known player, I'd make a bigger
you
deal about
understand
it.
where the frustration comes from now?
Oh, absolutely.
With the PGA Tour, and this has happened over the years.
Oh yeah,
that there has been unfair penalty assessments, and the PGA Tour has not done anything about it.
No. They allegedly tried to adapt and change the rules and get away from rules that are over 100 years old that don't make any sense today. Right. So they are doing some kind of strides to it, but are they perfect?
Well, let's make a point though.
Uh-huh.
That is the USGA and RNA making those rules. That is not the PGA Tour changing those rules.
True. Yeah. It's the truth. But they're very minimal. That.
This was a PGA Tour move with Bryson DeChambeau.
Right.
And had an official go out there and spray paint that area.
Yeah, as a player, I would be very frustrated because so here's the thing, whether something is wrong, you either need to go back through everybody that's been penalized and fix it, or you have to leave it. Like you can't just say, I mean, it'd be the same as like mid-round, you're changing where the markers are. It's the same thing. So now this group has 147 instead of 167 yard shot. Like you can't change any of the variables.
No. And it was, we all know that one shot, one stroke in the PGA Tour means thousands and thousands of dollars and possibly missing the cut and making any money. Yeah. So to do that to somebody because they're less famous or whatever, it just doesn't seem right.
I'm with Biggs. They have to get that together or they will start to lose loyalty.
Yeah. The fans aren't quite as forgiving as the PGA.
So the answer to your question, Amanda, that you posed, if it's not Saudi backed, yes, I could see myself and others backing that tournament if it shows some kind of humanitarian, and I'm not, like I said, credit where credit's due with the PGA Tour. They've done a lot of charitable over the years and help kids and help families and things like that. PGA Hope, they've done a lot of things with families and things like that. So if I can back an investment company, let's just say it's not Live Investments, let's just say it's Biggs Investments and stuff like that, wants to start a tour, has the help of, I'll use an example, Mike Brown and the Cactus.
Great example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other tours are popping up.
Right. Yeah. If Mike and myself, I'll throw the money in the back of this. I'll back it financially. Sure. Mike heads it up, right? Such as a Greg Norman and Live Investments, where they're doing on the Asian tour and all that stuff. And we use the Cactus as that tour's name. Okay. I could see myself backing that as a fan.
Yeah, I don't
if that tour has a good reputation.
Well, and that's the thing. I think people don't want change and don't like new things. So that is something. Now, I'm not saying that the Saudi tour is the way to do that, but I also know that people, no matter what, have a hard time in the beginning. And it's like anything. Like backswing is my baby. So if I saw another company pop up, whether or not their potential or their cause was great, it's still a competitor. It's still something that might detour my business. So it's the same thing. But I think from a player standpoint, it wouldn't be all that bad to have another
option
place to go and hop back and forth, not be banned from one because you went over to the other one.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm not understanding Monahan because you have players all the time playing back and forth European tour and come and play on the PGA tour.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Some of the guys that play on the senior tour hop back in a PGA tour event and vice versa. Like there's and no one can stop you, like you said, for going over to the European tour and saying, hey, I'm going to play a few events and take a break over from, or I'm going to play in this. Like you can't.
Well, could it be because it's PGA Tour Europe that it's
Probably.
okay because they partnered up with the European Tour and now it's PGA
Oh,
Tour
it is PGA
Europe.
Tour, yeah, affiliated.
And I thought the Asian Tour was under the umbrella of the PGA as well, but I'm mistaken, I guess.
Yeah, especially since it got bought out. They found their loophole and they got in because it's
crazy.
It is. The whole situation is. I mean, I'm hoping that everything works out the right way, the way it should, and I hope Phil comes back and is Phil.
Like I said, the Masters, with him being quiet right now about it and not releasing any kind of statement about it, I think it shows his apology being sincere.
Yeah.
At this moment.
Yep.
I think it shows his character back intact, with not slamming the Masters or not coming out and say, oh, no, I wanted to play, but they told me to stay out, so.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get beeped on that one.
Well, we're on YouTube TV, so.
Oh, okay. It's
radio.
different. Oh, yeah. Okay. I heard it. I was like, wait a minute. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. So, yeah, and I get it. It's going to be an interesting. It really is. I'm looking forward to how everything unfolds and unravels. And I really want to see who's going to be signing up for this Saudi league. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to pay for it. I refuse with everything that was happening with the PGA. You had to have this channel and that channel. I'm not paying to watch golf. I want to watch golf. I don't want to pay to watch golf. If I have to pay to watch it, I'll go pay to play it.
Oh, yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you tell me the only way you're going to find out is if you watch it on who's playing, all right, whatever. I'm not watching it.
Yeah. I'm tired of every time they turn around, we paying for it.
The internet's too big to not know who will be playing on that tour.
Exactly. Somebody's going to spill the beans. It'll be on TikTok or on Twitter.
Quiet long.
Nobody's going to stay quiet long. It's popping out. So it'll be interesting to see, we'll be patient. Let's see how it goes. And we'll have another roundtable about it really, really soon. So it'll be perfect.
So, Amanda, what is your feeling about Phil Mickelson at this moment regarding the Masters?
I mean, I'm bummed for him. I really am. I think I think everybody, like even Bill said, everybody gets a second chance, and I know it was apples and oranges compared to Tiger, but even with things like these guys, I think we put up on this pedestal and expect them to not be human.
Yeah.
They're human.
Yep.
They're going to Phil. I genuinely believe he is a businessman at heart. I really do. Like he is, and he's going to make the best decisions according to him and his business. Yep. And so I think that, if I ever had to sit here and say that I've never made a bad business move or that I've never jumped the gun on something because I thought it was really great, then I'd be lying. So I feel for him. I wish he was playing, but part of me is, you know what? You don't want me, then I won't be there. Don't worry.
Sayonara.
Yeah.
Bill,
bye.
Bill, what's your thought?
I don't know.
He just got so sad.
This is a damn show. You're supposed to know something.
I'm like my emotions are all over the place with it when it comes to the whole situation and everything. I'm hoping that Phil comes back and he gets that second chance. They are forgiving him. I'm hoping that I want to see Phil on tour. That's where his legacy started. That's where I want it to finish. If another tour pops up, great, and it's worthwhile. Good. I mean, we have the Corn Ferries. We got a whole bunch of tours leading up to the PGA Tour. Is there something allegedly going to be as above the PGA Tour? I don't believe so. I don't think anything in the States will make it. But I don't know. I want Phil back. I'm hoping that.
Well, here's the thing. Phil's probably thinking to himself, can I win on the PGA Tour anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely can win tournaments in the Champions Tour.
Absolutely.
You know
and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of opportunity in the PGA Tour with the different events, Corn, Champions. They're still out there making. I think the Champions Tour, if we look at it, the amount of money that they make there is still more than most of the LPGA events that they have. And these guys are, already going towards the end of their career.
Well, like I'm thinking here, and like Amanda said, Bill's a businessman. Personally, in my opinion, I don't see him participating in his live investment backing tour. But if he does, unfortunately, I'm going to stop being a fan. And that's just how I feel because of Saudi Arabia and all their, how they treat their people and what Phil has said. And the ignorance that he should, he said, listen, I jumped the gun. I did this. I apologize. Well, he's going to just rip that apology to shreds.
Yeah.
If he plays in these events.
Yeah. I think Phil needs to just stay low for a little while.
Yeah.
And then when he resurfaces, there'll be a lot of happy people. I don't think there's a lot of people that want Phil to fail. They don't want that. I think they just want Phil, to be Phil on the PGA Tour. That's what they want. So let's hope that everything works out, and we're gonna know soon enough. When they start dropping these announcements, who's playing, who's not, and you know what, somebody might overshadow Phil because we don't know who's gonna play.
We don't know. There could be a couple.
It could be somebody that's currently in the Masters playing in the Masters, and guess what?
Boom.
The Masters will now kick themselves in the ass because maybe an announcement comes out. I'm just going to throw that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Bubba Watson, all of a sudden announced to be playing in the Live. He's now leading or in on page one on the Masters. Well, guess what? Now the Masters is inserted into the drama automatically because of that announcement.
And the Masters, what do? If you didn't let Phil play, then you kick out whoever gets announced mid-round?
It's gonna be interesting. They know exactly what they're doing.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I think about this, and I'm like, Greg Norman is a bad person for wanting to do this and overshadow the Masters. But it might be the smartest thing to say, "Hey, F you guys," because you have players currently playing in the Masters, and you just prevented one player from playing in the Masters.
And here's the rest that are going to be in our league.
And by the way,
it could happen. It's going to be really interesting, and I think people are going to figure it out and tune in just for the hype, just to find out who their next victim is, who they're going to target to go after. It's going to be interesting, man. I'm really.
I'll tell you what. Whoever playing in the Masters that hasn't been announced yet and is going over to that Live, you're shaking in your boots every shot, going, "Oh God, please don't find out I'm playing."
Can you imagine if they announced it during the first round and that person's for the next 3 rounds they make the cut and these people are just taunting them.
But if I'm Phil and that announcement happens and those players are playing, I'm 100% having an issue with that. Yeah. Well,
maybe Phil won't. Maybe Phil will be calm and cool and collective. So I'm just going to let this play out. It's going to take away from me.
But you still got as a man, you're still going to have an issue with it.
You know what?
Maybe not publicly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm having an issue. I'm fighting it. You didn't let me play on my permanent exemption.
Yep.
That I earned, and that you've given everyone.
And if there's anybody that earned it, it was him. I mean,
Yeah.
it took him a while to get his first green jacket.
Well, you know what they're gonna say. We didn't tell him not to. We just encouraged him not to.
We just recommended.
Yeah, we're recommending that you don't come. We're not
Strongly recommending.
Yeah, strongly. Please don't
Right.
show up. It's not going to be good. Yeah.
All right.
All righty.
Time for us to go here on Big Golf Talk. What do you think? Leave a comment down below on this whole situation and Phil Mickelson and, you know, this announcement that's coming out of Live. Who do you think might be playing on a Live tour?
I don't know.
I'd love to hear your opinions. All right. We'll see you on the opposite side here on Big's Golf Talk. We'll be right back.